Well, happy midweek, church family, and welcome to autumn. It has finally arrived. I've got a couple of housekeeping matters just to share with you before we get into a little bit of a discussion about what to expect this coming Sunday, October the 4th. A couple of those things really are attached to this email. You're watching this video because you got an email. This is an attachment on that email, but there are two others to call to your attention. One simply is the October and November birthday list, and we're sending two each month for the most current month, the most upcoming month, and then one for about a month away. So the end of this month, you'll receive November and December again. You've already received October, maybe more than once. Do note that there's been some changes, some additions to that with some new folks. So please make note of that. So you can print that up, save it digitally, however works best for you. In addition to that is the first edition of just kind of a monthly update of some things and happenings throughout our church family. It is not the traditional span format. We wanted to make it a simple one-page addition to some things. And so what you can do is simply print this out. This one says October with Fairfax Baptist Church. It has a few highlights, some of which I'll touch on, but that way you can print it out, keep it on the fridge. Again, it's not a calendar in the traditional sense either, because we have very limited church-wide activities and so forth. There are a couple of things not on here, but let me tell you what's on here first, and then I'll highlight those that are not on here, and I'll tell you why. First of all, we do have just a reminder about this upcoming Sunday. I'll get to that in the latter half of our video. But I want to remind you that this month begins our October Harvest Pantry Drive. There's some information on that insert for you to just have a reminder on the fridge or pantry or bulletin board that each time you come to the church, whether it's worship, Bible study, or dropping by the church, or maybe for the direct intention of bringing something like this, we encourage you to bring at least one can item or staple item that would be fit for pantry. And we'll be gathering this through the month of October. So each time you come, just one little item perhaps or two. That will add up over the month, and we'll be helping to provide a resource for local food pantry needs here in our immediate community. That's one way that we're just giving back. It's very small, very simple things, not hard to do. Just each time you come, let that be a part of your offering. The bins will be provided at the foyers and in the church office. So please just remember that it's October, and now that emphasis begins. Also want to remind you that there are some other things that are not on this. First of all, we don't have the listing of when and where each of the committees meet. Traditionally on the church calendar, you would see that this committee, this Sunday, and so forth. But since the COVID situation, since mid-March, many of our committees and leadership, both as we wrapped up the last leadership year and in these first weeks of the new year, we have remained fluid. Our committees and leadership, our board, deacons, etc., they are meeting consistently, but that meeting sometimes floats based on the need. We've met via Zoom and phone calls and socially distanced small meetings during this season. But because some of that has remained fluid, we're not sending you just the list to know, hey, this is when they're meeting this month. Some of those are pretty much almost a game day call throughout the month. So if there is a need that you think might need to come to the attention of, say, admin, our facilities, our deacons for pastoral ministry, or board, something a larger, bigger picture project, you can let us know in the church office. You can reach out to those leaders and say, hey, for your next meeting, here's something on my mind or my heart. So please feel free to do that. As always, all of that is open, but those things aren't listed here, but we are meeting fairly consistently, but that kind of has a tendency to float during these uncertain and flexible times. Also, there's one thing that I'm really excited about, but we chose not to put it in print. we can circle back around, and probably next week you'll have an extra insert type flyer to print up and remind you of a really unique project. But here's where we are. I broke the ice on this last week in our midweek video, and that is the No Tricks, Just Treats trunk or treat, and I'll tell you why I put that in quotes, outreach opportunity for our community. That is still yet to be determined for the specifics. We have received some good news and some news that not necessarily good, but just things that we have to work around. First of all, I shared with you last week that the city of Fairfax had yet to make a call on what they were going to encourage or discourage, as the case may be, for the traditional trick-or-treating and fall festival kind of things. As of the first part of this week, they actually posted, the city did, on their website that they're suggesting that we follow the CDC guidelines, which I knew that was coming. I'd seen those guidelines, but that is pretty much their decision. And one of the things that they're encouraging, of course, you can go to the city's website. There are other activities like the fire department, police departments, things like that, that are trying to fill in the gap a little bit. But they are suggesting that we don't have neighborhood type trick-or-treating and that kind of thing. And yes, listed in one of the please don't do this activities is a traditional trunk or treat. A trunk or treat, we did something similar to that last year on the last Friday of the month. It coincided with the last Rock the Block. We did it in Woody's parking lot, if you recall. And that is more direct engagement. We had some color the pumpkins, we had some crafts, we had literally a big trunk full of candy where kids could come and dig through, and some other treats and hot cider for mom and dad. And we're not able to do that. They're saying don't do that, whether it's a church parking lot or whatever, where different individuals come and hand out candy, just not in the neighborhood, but in a parking lot somewhere. So it kind of fits under that umbrella. So what we're doing, we're not really able to call a trunk or treat, but what we are looking to do is something very similar to that. And it's a little bit scaled back. It's a little bit all within the COVID protocols. And so we are in conversation with a local school, and not in addition to MSO, the Montessori School of Oakton, that is a part of our facility usage. We'll be able to do for them something similar. But what we wanted to do was to either draw the community closer or perhaps go out into the community. And so the go out into the community it looks like to be the best way. And we are partnering, hopefully, with a local elementary school, maybe more than one, and actually doing almost like a grab and go drive-by. They've done this with meals and school supplies, that kind of thing. And so some of the school administrators that we've talked to, they're down for it. They would really like for us to participate, looking at probably that last Friday, maybe, just as it's starting to get dark, 4 to 7, something-ish like that. And it would truly be a grab and go drive by. We would be mask gloved, and it would be a prepackaged thing that we actually, much like if you've been through a drive-through, we hand it to them in a tray or that kind of thing, because it would be kind of a sanctioned thing from a school or a partnership, and it would be out in the community. And for that school, it's something we're going to have to really be careful and abide by those protocols. The reason we don't have the specifics is that there is actually a meeting later this week between some of the school administrators and Parks and Recreation with the city. And some of our representatives from Fairfax have been in contact, from the church, have been in contact as well, been in a part of those conversations. So that's happening on Friday. And so we're kind of waiting to get the final go-ahead from the city. We don't want anybody coming up and saying, y'all can't do this while we're in the middle of doing it. So circle that on your calendar, to be determined, all the details to be announced. And even though it's not going to be a big, hey, mix and mingle kind of thing like we had hoped, there will be an opportunity for you to be a part on whatever your sense of involvement, even from home. You can help us pack the little gift bag, something very simple, things like that. So that's being discovered. So just hang tight. That would have been a perfect addition for this October with Fairfax Baptist Church. but we didn't have enough of the information. And so this is how I'm communicating that with you. Maybe even by Sunday, we'll be able to make an announcement at church. And perhaps the next week, if we have the details, we can get those out to you and let you know how we can pull this off. So be praying for that opportunity, actually. We've had good response from school administrators, and we're just waiting to see how we can pull it off. We think that we can, but we'll let you know, hopefully no later than next week. So circle that last week on your calendar, that last Friday most likely, and we'll get back to you with the details and be praying that we can pull that off. The main thing that I want to talk to you about, speaking of Sunday, is our Sunday service this week. This week, Sunday, October 4th, will be a little bit different. We are not meeting inside. We're going to meet in the courtyard here on the church property. It is inside the new fencing. All of the gates will be opened. We will have socially distanced seating ready to go. But because of the nature of the service, because it is outside, and because we're not talking about pews bolted to the floor, we'll be able to mix and mingle and move some of those chairs around depending on the seating needs per household. But those will roughly be spaced out about 8, maybe even 10 feet apart, because we're going to be doing some singing. And with outside, that kind of helps us take care of those social distance protocols. If you would like to bring your own chair, you certainly can. If you have a comfortable chair, cup holder, that kind of thing, bring some water or whatever, you're free to do that. We'll be using the chairs from the fellowship hall, much like we do with our sunrise service on Easter Sunday morning. But if you have a more comfortable chair, or if you would like to sit further back, you don't have to sit in one of the more compressed areas. Again, we're social distancing. We're encouraging you to wear a mask as we mix and mingle, but as we sit down and begin worship, you're able to take that off. But if you want to have a further distance, if you want to kind of line around the fence, if you want to be back in the distance, kind of the balcony, so to speak, you can do that. You can be 12 feet, 18 feet, 30 feet, or whatever, and still feel like you're connected and hear and participate. So this is a way that we can do some things that we haven't been able to do inside, like singing. And it's going to be a way for us to hopefully provide a venue of worship that opens up the opportunity for people who have yet to begin regathering to find a comfort zone in which they can. It's a one and done. We're kind of towards the end of that season. I don't anticipate doing something like this really between now and through the holidays, with the exception maybe of a very brief outdoor gathered around the manger scene kind of thing for Christmas Eve, similar to what we did last year. So that would be a possibility. So here's your opportunity as we come into the colder months. It's not going to be so hot, but it will be kind of cool. It's a fall morning, so dress appropriately. And come and worship with us. We'll be singing. We'll be having really 2 blocks of singing. We've got some great classic hymns, some great praise and worship music as well. Tying all that together will be the observance of the Lord's Supper. We did note on the calendar that it is the first Sunday of the month, and as is our custom, we will be observing the Lord's Supper. Also on this little flyer that we're providing you, and here I'm reminding you too, is just the information that we do have, if you would so like, some of the communion kits that we are using in the sanctuary. We'll be using those on Sunday. If you would like those for home use, there are a number of ways that you can let us know. One, talk to your deacon about it. You can reach out to him or her when she calls or he calls, or you pick up the phone, work the other way, say, hey, I'd like some, not just on a Sunday or month by month, but you can get a handful of those. We have plenty now, and you can use those for the months to come if you see yourself staying in still in this season. We're offering that to you. You certainly don't have to use those. It's a convenience. It's there. It would kind of be the same thing that you're seeing us use in the sanctuary. But we do encourage you to observe the Lord's table at home, and this is a resource for you. You can also let us know in the church office. You can send a quick email. You can give us a call, and we can get that to you. Even for this Sunday, we can do our best to get those in your hands if you would like. As always, you can use your own resources too. And for some, I've heard that's a special opportunity to involve children and others to think about a sacrifice from your own pantry that would certainly, you can continue that as well. So remember that we are going to be having communion this Sunday, and we invite you to be with us. We'll be doing that just like on Sunday mornings inside when we have communion. Those little communion kits will be placed in each seated area outside as you arrive. So just be wary of that and know that that's going to be something we'll use about halfway through the service. Also, we do have a song sheet printed for you. It is simply the words to most of them you'll probably know, but just in case and kind of see the order. It's not a order of service traditionally printed, but it's the words to the songs because we're not going to have the display and the monitors available outside. Which brings me to one other aspect of our outdoor service, and that is the streaming ability. We will be streaming. We will have to use remote devices because we are not streaming through the hard wiring of our main system and the beautiful camera that we have. Yes, that kind of thing can be moved around, but because it's not a part of our direct system, we're going to have to use more mobile devices in recording that because we can't use our sound system. We can't bring that outside, really, not the one from the balcony. We're going to need to use our Facebook page for the live streaming moment. We can't live stream remotely like that from directly to our YouTube channel. That's part of their policy to keep, obviously, live YouTube streaming perhaps tragedies and violence and that kind of thing. So we're stuck under those limitations. But know that we will be live streaming, and that will be on our Facebook page, Fairfax Baptist. And you can go to that. We'll probably send out another quick email in the next day or so, just as a quick reminder, that's where to find it. We'll be able to direct you to that on our website as well, just so you're not tempted to click the blue button at fairfaxbaptist.net. However, after the service, after it is finished and closed out, we can post the recorded. That'll be buffered and all that kind of stuff, edited if we needed to for length, and then we'll post that on our website or on our YouTube channel, which is accessible through our website if you want to wait till later in the afternoon or evening. But to watch it live, you'll need to go to our Facebook page, and then just realize it's going to be much more akin to what we experienced with some of our outdoor things. I did an outdoor message from my roof and from the Cotting building, if you remember, our original building downtown on Old Town Fairfax. And then we also did our sunrise service. It was live stream only. So it'll be akin to that. Don't fuss about the quality. It's the best we can do. The outdoor audio, because there's no real studio mixing involved, we're not able to look like Fox 5 out on the scene. So it will be, we'll be able to get the congregation, you'll be able to hear, but you're going to maybe hear some background noise and that kind of thing too. So just be patient with that. One remedy for that is if you are able to be sure to come and just come on to the church. We're encouraging you to gather in that courtyard. You can access the courtyard in one of three ways. First of all, you can come on the main and Walnut corner, or you can come on the office sidewalk, kind of come up that way. Much like you would for our sunrise service, those gates will be open and you can come that way. Or if you need to, you can come through the church. The main doors, the double doors will be open, and you can have direct access going either through the fellowship hall or at the end of that hallway leading to the fellowship hall. That will be access available for you. And that'll remain open so that we can, if you needed to go indoors for restroom facilities, that kind of thing, that'll be easy to access. So just keep that in mind as you arrive. We encourage you to arrive, by 1:45 or so. You're going to hear some wonderful music in the background, some pre-service music, prelude type things. So come on, follow the music and join with us. I'm not going to be preaching, but I'm going to just be singing right along with you. Those are things we haven't been able to do. So I hope that you'll be with us. So just in quick summary, you got a couple of attachments. Be sure to print those out or save them digitally. Be looking for the further and final word, hopefully, on our No Tricks, Just Treats outreach opportunity with the school system here in Fairfax. And we hope to see you Sunday. Happy fall, y'all. I'm looking forward to a great season, even through the limitations. We have so much to be thankful for, and we have a wonderful worship opportunity. However you wish to connect, we look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Thanks. Have a great rest of the week.